So I am Jassi Chadha. I'm the founder and CEO of Axtria. And Axtria is a pharma-focused commercial data analytics and a software company. For the last 18 months or so, the whole world has been captivated with GenAI. Even though the GenAI was a decade in making, so to speak. But I think the use of using GenAI with platforms like ChatGPT really has captured the imagination. So first thing is that the awareness that someone has to use this thing is very, very high. And that actually has forced us and many other companies to look at the use cases of this GenAI. Currently, where the industry is that we are somewhere between finding the use cases to doing the first generation models to see the value of these use cases. That's where we are today in the industry. What the promise of GenAI is that what it can do in terms of improving the productivity of the people, enabling us to actually analyze vast amount of data and improving the productivity of the people, and reducing obviously the timelines, making less errors and things like that. And that is the future, but we still have long ways to go. I think where we in our industry are still figuring out. So for example, over the last 18 months we've worked a ton in this area, and we have about 20 use cases, but none of them are the ones that are in production at scale at this stage. Look, the data-driven insights, again, from an awareness perspective of understanding by the business customers that they need to make better decisions driven by data, is the awareness is there. The fundamental reason why you need data-driven insights as compared to making decisions from your gut, which is typically how the business is made, is that how do you explain when the insights from the data is completely contrary to what your gut has been or what you have done traditionally. And this is where you have to balance complexity with the ability to explain, to build trust. And trust takes time to build. So I think the biggest challenge of data-driven insights is having enough trust from the business community to trust the insights. And we are on that journey. The product innovation is around scaling analytics. And typically the analytics has been done it's more of a handcrafting, but you can't industrialize that. You can't scale it globally. You can't scale it at where you have thousands of people using the insights from your models. And industrializing that actually needs a lot of technology. Data engineering comes in, software engineering comes in, model governance comes in, ML operations comes in, and all of those things. And the challenge is that this is now traditionally how analytics has gotten consumed. Analytics has gotten consumed is that you have an analyst who you trust, who builds the models, gives you the insights, you analyze it and makes a decision. But that is not scalable, because how many analysts are you going to have? How many good analysts are you going to have? So how do you make sure that you have a few good analysts who build the models, and there are thousands of people who use these models to basically make the right decision, let's say even in a real time or in different geographies where the analyst is not located. For that to do that, you have to actually industrialize it and build platforms. And that's why productization of analytics is very important. If you really want to get the value of analytics, you have to scale it, you have to industrialize it, and that can only happen when you actually productize it. So the talent in data science is actually very different from traditionally most of the industries we've worked on. Actually, if you think about the true understanding of the data science, it's actually very cross-functional, it's multidisciplinary. And traditionally, most of the world has not been multidisciplinary. You become a scientist, you're an engineer, you're a particular kind of engineer, you're a doctor and all that. But what this entails is actually understanding of business in ability to build models, ability to do data engineering, ability to build software applications, and deploying them at scale. So it's a cross-functional, multidisciplinary thing, and the talent generally available is not going to be found in a person. So it is actually zooming out and actually creating cross-functional teams where the people can work together. And most of this actually needs adapting our traditional talent. So now there are many universities, more in US than probably in India or other places, where they have started teaching this in colleges at the undergraduate and master's level on the topics of data science. But the vast majority of talent that works in this industry have not gone those through educational programs. That will happen in the future. I think where India has traditionally done well is that the talent pool in India is flexible and adapts very quickly. So if you look at IT industry, which basically has been very successful in India, less than 10% of the people who work in IT industry have an undergrad degree in computer science. Most of them were actually non-computer science majors who adapted to be in this industry. Now, though that has pros and cons. The pro is that you have access to vast volume of talent, but the con is they are generalist. If you have not done data structures in your life, you're going to struggle to do data analytics, right? So I think what we have found in India is that the volume of talent is very high, but the quality of talent thins out very quickly. That is one. But you can take the raw talent, but you have to invest very significantly in actually training them on the business construct, on the consulting construct, on the communication construct. How do you write all those things? And that's where we have actually invested a lot. So, so our goal was, how do you become the best training company in this industry, right? Training for analytics. And that's where we have invested. But obviously, the volume of talent and the quality of talent in India is very, very good. So Axtria was started 14 years ago. So we are just starting our 15th year on this journey. And it was started off with the construct that we are going to build an analytics company focused on multiple industries. That is not what we are doing today. We are focused only on one industry, which is the life sciences industry. The second thing was that we were going to focus on actually providing analytics services. There was no plan to invest in products. Along the way, we realized that in order for you to industrialize analytics, you have to invest in products. And today we have become a very successful software products company, a SaaS products company. So where it started from, multidisciplinary services, where we have ended up in 14 years is life sciences focused, products and managed services together. Also, a number of things have happened along the way. When we started Axtria at that time, the big data technologies were just coming on the scene. So we were very excited that if you could actually harness this data and actually putting it all together, you could run better analytics. Then came along the cloud infrastructure. When the cloud infrastructure was starting to penetrate this industry, what everyone thought that business applications were going to live on the cloud. Very few people 15 years ago thought that data was going to live on the cloud. Cost of data, security, control, the pipes were not big enough and all that. And we were fortunate enough to actually see that data was going to live on the cloud. And as we kind of really, our thinking evolved in this, focused on one industry, harnessing the power of cloud, productizing our solutions, that's what really kind of started shaping up what became the future of Axtria. If you look at this journey over the last 10 years, we have exclusively focused on life sciences industry for about 8 years now. And within those 8 years, we have now become one of the largest data analytics company or software product company in just 8 years, which is probably one of the fastest growth that any company has seen in this industry ever in the last 50 years. So our association with life sciences industry is we are pharma, and I'm very proud of the industry because I believe that of all the industries in this world, this is probably the most innovative and probably creates more value for the human mankind than any other industry does, right? So I'm very, very passionate about it. So the thing is that one of those things is that as the saying, we didn't come this far to come this far, right? So I think one of the main things that we've been doing is that, if you look at our history, we've been growing very consistently at a very high growth rate. Now, question is, can we actually do the same thing for the next 10 years? If we do, then I think we'll become a very large company. India is not an afterthought for us. This company was architected to be built in India for the world. And we have deep conviction that we have the right strategy and we have the right resources to invest. So before pandemic, we've only had offices in Gurgaon and Noida. Post pandemic, during pandemic, post pandemic, we now have offices in Noida, Gurgaon, Pune, Hyderabad, and Bangalore. And the capacity that we are carrying in terms of just infrastructure is 2x. We can double our headcount without having to add more centers or more infrastructure. That is the conviction we have that we have invested currently. And we hope that we can actually achieve that in the next 4 years.